Hello folks, I'm Alan for today's news. I will be bringing you world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. First thing I got for you right here is from KMOV, Channel 4 out of St. Louis. They got it from CNN. It says taxpayers are missing out on more than $1 billion in refunds.
CNN, you could have some money coming to you, but you'll need to act quickly. The Internal Revenue Service is trying to track down 1.5 million people who are owed their share of unclaimed tax refunds. That's $1.4 billion worth of refunds from income tax year 2019. The IRS is letting people know, if you think you're owed, you have until July 17th to submit a tax return to claim your refund. If you don't make the deadline, the government keeps the money. Normally, filing after the April deadline comes with penalties, but because of the pandemic, the IRS extended the deadline for 2019 income taxes over 3 years to July 2023. By the way, the average median refund for tax year 2019 was $893.
Well, I tell you what, they're not trying very hard. They want to keep the money, I guess. If they will try harder, then they will find the people. Let's go to the next one here. This is from Newsmax. U.S. confirms China spy base in Cuba since at least 2019.
China has been operating a spy base in Cuba since at least 2019, part of a global effort by Beijing to upgrade its intelligence-gathering capabilities, according to a Biden administration official. The official, who was not authorized to comment publicly and spoke on the condition of anonymity, said the U.S. intelligence community has been aware of China's spying from Cuba and a larger effort to set up intelligence-gathering operations around the globe for some time. The Biden administration has stepped up efforts to thwart the Chinese push to expand its spying operations and believes it has made some progress through diplomacy and other unspecified action, according to the official, who was familiar with U.S. intelligence on the matter. The existence of the Chinese spy base was confirmed after the Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday that China and Cuba had reached an agreement in principle to build an electronic eavesdropping station on the island. The journal reported that China planned to pay a cash-strapped Cuba billions of dollars as part of the negotiations. The White House and Cuban officials, however, called the report inaccurate. "I've seen that press report, it's not accurate," White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said in an MSNBC interview on Thursday. "What I can tell you is that we have been concerned since day one of this administration about China's influence activities around the world, certainly in this hemisphere and in this region. We're watching this very, very closely." The U.S. intelligence community had determined that Chinese spying from Cuba has been an ongoing matter and is not a new development, the administration official said. President Joe Biden's national security team was briefed by the intelligence community soon after he took office in January 2021 about a number of sensitive Chinese efforts around the globe where Beijing was weighing expanding logistics, basing and collection infrastructure as part of the People's Liberation Army's attempt to further its influence, the official said.
Okay, and you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. If they knew about it or not, they're not going to tell us the truth. You know, they won't. They'll keep it hush-hush. Let's go to the next one here. This is from Newsmax. Trump says he'll never leave race even after indictment.
Former President Donald Trump assured supporters Saturday he will keep up the fight against political attacks, prosecutions, and indictments. "I'll never leave," Trump told reporters aboard his plane, flying from Georgia to North Carolina between his Saturday speeches, Politico reported. "Look, if I would have left, I would have left prior to the original race in 2016. That was a rough one. In theory, that was not doable." The remarks echo those made by Trump to Newsmax White House correspondent James Rosen in March. Trump was indicted on 37 counts by special counsel Jack Smith for President Joe Biden's Justice Department, an unprecedented indictment by a sitting president of a former president, a chief political rival, or a potential presidential general election opponent. "These are thugs and degenerates who are after me," Trump concluded to reporters Saturday aboard his private plane, according to Politico.
And that's all I got on that one there. All the links be in my description box anyway. Let's go to the next one here, just from Newsmax. Giuliani to Newsmax. Biden's likely committed 10 to 12 felonies.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani told Newsmax Saturday that the recent document released to the House Oversight Committee shows President Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden, likely committed maybe 10 to 12 different major felonies in overseas business dealings while he was the vice president. How can you tell us with a straight face that we have equal application of the law when Hunter Biden is running around free and there's evidence sitting with the FBI that would easily convict him and his father of maybe 10 to 12 different major felonies, Giuliani said during the count Saturday. The document they are talking about, the $10 million bribe from Burisma owner, Mykola Zlochevsky, is only the tip of the iceberg. The New York Post reported that Zlochevsky allegedly told an FBI informant that he paid $5 million each to the then vice president and his son for disrupting a criminal investigation into the energy company he owned. At the time, Hunter Biden had a paying seat on Burisma's board. According to the report, committee members Representatives Anna Paulina Luna, Republican Florida, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia, both read the allegations of Zlochevsky's admission in a document shown to the committee by the agency earlier this week. There were two separate transactions, one that went to Joe Biden for $5 million, one that went to Hunter Biden for $5 million, Luna said in the report. There's no doubt in my mind that Joe Biden is guilty of bribery. Greene said in the report that the payments were for Joe Biden having Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin fired in 2016 while he served as former President Barack Obama's vice president. The Post reported that Joe Biden bragged on video about leveraging $1 billion in U.S. loans to Ukraine to force the firing. Giuliani said that the document came to light because an FBI agent went out to corroborate information Giuliani gave the agency about the Biden family's dealings with foreign entities. They fixed the 2020 election by suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop hard drive, he said. The hard drive is an encyclopedia of crimes committed by Joe Biden and his family for 30 years. It's described in detail by Hunter. That was suppressed by the vast majority of the American establishment and newspapers. That alone makes the election of 2020 a fraudulent election. Giuliani said that while Joe Biden and his family are given a pass, the Department of Justice is coming down on former President Donald Trump with a criminal indictment for what should be a civil matter. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have said something like this cannot happen to my country, he said. This is the kind of thing that happened in communist countries, not in the United States of America.
Yeah, we are becoming a communist country. Crooked Joe Biden and his son, they should leave Trump alone, just go after them. For some reason they're not. The Democrats, and Democrats rule in the D.C. area. They'll get it, don't worry, it'll come to them, it always does. Crooks never win. And let me go to the next one. This one here from Business Insider. Ukraine has destroyed 2 prized Russian thermobaric rocket launchers. They were taken out by U.S. supplied howitzers, says report.
Ukraine appears to have destroyed 2 Russian thermobaric rocket launchers, using U.S. artillery. Russia has been using them to strike Ukrainian positions in recent days to stall the counteroffensive. If Ukraine continues to damage these systems, it could affect Russia's defensive capabilities, ISW said. Full screen. Ukraine appears to have destroyed at least 2 prized Russian thermobaric rocket launchers, which are one of Russia's most effective weapons in repelling the Ukrainian counteroffensive. Images of destroyed TOS-1A heavy thermobaric rocket launchers have circulated on social media from respected war monitor platforms. The footage was geolocated and confirms that Ukraine used Western precision munitions, reportedly the US-supplied Paladin 155mm artillery system, to destroy at least 2 of the Russian systems, according to Washington, D.C.-based think tank the Institute of the Study of War, ISW.
And you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. Yeah, there's more to read on it. Let me go to my next one here. Okay, this is from Business Insider. Russians are cheering defeats of Western-made tanks. Their optimism may prove premature.
A terrifying video captures a Russian drone's attack on a German-made Leopard tank below. Russians cheered these defeats. Some believe they are signs Ukraine's counteroffensive is a failure. They may yet be disappointed. Ukraine's counteroffensive has just begun. Scenes from the front lines of the Ukraine war have recently looked dire for Ukraine's forces as their counteroffensive gets underway, including pileups of damaged or wrecked tanks and fighting vehicles. One terrifying video captures a Russian loitering drone's attack on a German-made Leopard 2 tank below. The hit is real, but the full damage isn't shown and couldn't be independently assessed. The Leopard is among the more advanced weapons Ukraine has received from its Western backers to aid in retaking its land from Russian invaders. Russians celebrated.
And there's some more to read on if you want to read the rest of it. I'm going to go to my next one now. That's one here from Ukrainska Pravda. If Ukraine had enough Ukrainian-made Sapsan missile system, Russia may not have dared occupy it. Ukrainian Air Force spokesman says.
If Ukraine had more RIM-2 Sapsan operational tactical missile systems in its arsenal, it might have deterred Russia from occupying its territories. RIM-2 is a Ukrainian-made short-range ballistic missile system, edition. Source, Giuliani, spokesman for Ukraine's Air Force, in an interview with Ukrainska Pravda. Quote from Anat, missile spear. It's unfortunate that we haven't come up with it sooner. We used to parade RIM-2 Sapsan, and it's exactly the spear that we could have used to inflict damage on Russia. It's possible we wouldn't even have had to really get it out and threaten to use it. If Ukraine had a sufficient number of RIM-2 Sapsan operational tactical missile systems, we're not sure if Russia would have dared to occupy Crimea and other territories. Details. Inat said that RIM-2 Sapsan operational tactical missile systems have a range of 300 to 500 kilometers and would have been able to destroy Russian airfields and inflict devastating losses on Russian troops as they approached our borders. The mysterious user seems to have been able to put blockchain and Bitcoin technologies to work against the Russian terrorist state. The hacker gained access to hundreds of crypto wallets that likely belonged to Russian security agencies, cryptocurrency industry news site CoinDesk clarified, citing Chainalysis, a cryptocurrency monitoring company that works closely with the US government. Chainalysis analysts believe that the hacker used the transaction documentation feature of the Bitcoin blockchain to identify 986 wallets controlled by Russia's Foreign Military Intelligence Agency, GRU, the Foreign Intelligence Service, SVR, and the Federal Security Service, FSB. The analysts did not say what feature they were referring to. At the same time, the hacker left messages in Russian to the owners of the wallets, in which he stated that these wallets were used to pay for the services of hackers working for Russia. Read also, unexpected failure of Russian hackers and Ukraine's ascendant IT expertise. It is not known to what extent these accusations are true. Western analysts consider it indisputable that Russian intelligence services use hackers for numerous operations. Chainalysis experts could only partially confirm the hackers' claims. They indicate that at least 3 of the alleged Russian wallets were already linked to Russia by third parties. 2 of them were supposedly involved in the SolarWinds attack, and the third paid for servers used in Russia's disinformation campaign in the 2016 US elections.
And there's more to read on that if you want to read the rest of it. I'm going to my next one now. This one here from Business Insider. Only 5 feet down under a dinosaur graveyard turn up in Australia.
Australia has become a new hotspot for paleontologists to dig for dinosaurs, the NYT reported. It all started in the early 2000s when a farmer found a dinosaur graveyard 5 feet under his land. Since then, scientists have excavated some of the most astounding paleontological finds in history. Full screen. The paleontological equivalent of a gold rush is happening in an unexpected place, Australia. Before the turn of the century, Australia was not a place you went digging for dinosaurs. That all changed, however, when Australian farmer David Elliott invited some scientists onto his land in the early 2000s to explore what he thought was a dinosaur graveyard, the New York Times reported. Elliott was raised on the farmland which had belonged to his father before him. And both he and his father had found dozens of small fragmented fossils near the surface over many years, per NYT. It wasn't until Elliott and his invited guests dug deeper that they discovered something unprecedented. About 5 feet down, the earth was teeming with chunks of bone, NYT reported. Only half a dozen dinosaurs have been discovered in Australia compared to the 81 that have turned up in the US. Australia just wasn't a place where paleontologists expected to find entire fossils intact. All it took was digging a little deeper and, you transition from not finding anything to finding everything, Scott Hocknull, a paleontologist at the Queensland Museum in Australia who was with Elliot on that fateful dig, told the NYT. Since the early 2000s, paleontologists have gone on to make even more grand discoveries. Earlier this year, scientists excavated a near-complete skull of a long-necked dinosaur species called sauropods. And in 2021, paleontologists reported that fossilized bones, initially mistaken for a pile of rocks, belonged to one of the largest dinosaur species ever found on Earth. Now, paleontologists native to Australia who had left to pursue their careers in more dinosaur-rich regions are returning home, sparking a newfound surge in paleontology for the country, according to the NYT. As for Elliot, he uncovered so many dinosaur bones that he set up his own museum called the Australian Age of Dinosaurs, which attracted 60,000 visitors in 2021, according to the NYT.
Good thing if you charge people $1 a piece, you get a lot of money there. Anyway, one more to go, and that'll be it for today. This one here from Radar Online. It's bigger on the inside. U.S. military accused of recovering a UFO that's distorted space-time.
A top attorney involved in bringing UFO whistleblowers to Congress claimed that a crashed alien craft recovered by the U.S. military distorted spacetime and was bigger on the inside, RadarOnline.com has learned. Daniel Sheehan shared this mind-boggling tale with DailyMail.com, which he says was recounted by a whistleblower who allegedly participated in a program retrieving crashed non-human spacecraft. This claim is the latest in a series of stunning allegations this week regarding the U.S. government's possession of multiple crashed, non-human crafts. The Department of Defense has denied any verifiable information to support these claims. However, Sheehan has been helping bring whistleblowers like David Grush to Congress to expose what he believes is a government cover-up of extraterrestrial encounters. Grush, a former senior Air Force intelligence officer, filed his first whistleblower complaint with the DoD Inspector General in July 2021, alleging that defense officials had failed to properly disclose UFO crash retrieval programs to Congress. Grush served as the National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, representative to the UFO Task Force from 2019 to 2021 and then co-led Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena analysis for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency until July 2022. Sheehan claims that Grush provided scores of classified documents and photos to the DoD Inspector General.
Okay, and there's more to read on that if you want to read about more about it. You're going to hear more about UFO now for some reason. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. I got something to keep you interested. Don't forget, I am Alan for today's news. I will be bringing you world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. And until next time, thanks for watching. Later.